will join the back of the grid. Good news for him that it at least gets a chance to
leader. Just under 20,000 fans then are here today in attendance for this Barcelona battle of MotoGP. 5 consecutive poles for the first time since 2014. The first Frenchman to have 5
in Barcelona for Valentino Rossi and 10 wins. It would be some story, wouldn't it, if somehow he managed to get Rossi after all. Quartararo then with a 24-point lead. You could argue that's comfortable already heading into this one. Can he extend?
He's had at least one rider on a podium here in Barcelona every year since 2007.
Watching from around the world, and just under 20,000 fans here in the grandstands as well. Can anyone stop Fabio Quartararo? The only question that Fabio Quartararo will be thinking as well will be that closing stages of the race. 3 different win-back wins here.
Well, he knows the way to the top step of the podium in Barcelona, Fabio Quartararo. His first win is a big favourite here as we're about to get underway.
The MotoGP beasts are ready. And away we go in MotoGP. Not a brilliant start from Jack Miller initially as the lights went out, and Quartararo has bolted down to lead.
How vital could that be? Jack Miller exactly where he wanted to be. It looks like Miguel Oliveira got away exceptionally to third.
That was a great move from Oliveira, very brave indeed to go up into second place. Paul Espargaro's taking an interesting inside line.
Losing places already. Zarco was in white.
He's charging through the pack. He's up into 4th spot. That's excellent from the
9th he started. He's 13th through sector 2 on lap 1.
This is scrappy already, isn't it? A bit further back. There's Aleix Espargaro going through
on 10. Likewise, Quartararo won't be able to fling up the inside of the Portuguese man as well.
Maverick Vinales up the inside there of Brad Binder. That's for likewise. His teammate lost quite a few places.
The Italians have had a shocker, Steve. Rossi's gone backwards, Bagnaia too.
And on the exit there, onto the start straight. A bit of a wobble from Miller, and that allows the slipstream effect to come into play here for number 88.
And Binder into turn 1. Stunning first lap though. A world champion's first lap from the world champion. Mir started 10th.
All qualifying yesterday. So there is Maverick Vinales, the Monster Energy Yamaha rider, behind Johann Zarco. What?
Yeah, and Quartararo will hear that factory Suzuki behind him. Aleix Espargaro's had an excellent first lap and a half. And Aleix Espargaro just getting a little bit impatient there on Miller, wasn't he, through turn 7?
You don't often see Quartararo making mistakes, but that was costly. Brad Binder and Maverick Vinales all very close to each other in the hunt for 7th.
Yeah, Binder just can't find a way through at the moment. On a couple of corners, these beautiful fast right-handers that bring you onto the 1 kilometre start-finish straight. Oliveira on the KTM from Miller.
Is the fastest rider on circuit on his Aprilia RSGP in 4th place as we head down towards turn 1 then. It's KTM Ducati.
Or first lap, he's the fastest man on circuit by a mile. A 40.535 from the Italian. That was about...
Goes deep, but he manages to pull it back in. Great start then for Miguel Oliveira.
I think Quartararo's lost the position to Zarco as well, Steve.
Yeah, he has.
Part down the hill into turn 5, and this is where he made the mistake on the previous lap, getting up the inside of Miller. That cost him places
to a green, and he lost 2 places, lost all of his momentum. So he's got more work to do than he was hoping for.
No drive whatsoever up the hill. And he got railroaded there by Brad Binder.
Well, he came back onto circuit, and unfortunately everyone's leant over, so they can't see
that had come from. Binder just cannot find a way through on Vinales. He's been tucked on his back wheel now for all 3 laps. He's got a lead now just under half a second, 40.594 from the Portuguese man. That was 3/10 quicker than Miller on that lap.
He's got brilliant rhythm. Definitely got the pace to break away.
Crucially on that last lap as well, Steve. Quartararo had enough of a buffer.
This has been for Marc Marquez as well. He's closing in on this group. Look at the number 93 just on the tail now of Johann Zarco.
Really.
It is Miguel Oliveira that still leads by 4/10 of a second now, maybe almost 5/10 of a second on Jack Miller.
Agro putting the Aprilia on the podium places early on here in Barcelona. He's going through on Miller at turn 10
on the cutback.
He's got nothing for the Ducati on that start-finish straight. So he was trying to get through on Miller at 10, and then perhaps use an Aprilia will never in a million years outdrag a Ducati.
And the problem is that's given Oliveira another couple of tenths, that overtaking ahead of Aleix. So Aleix momentarily popped his nose into second place, but has now dropped back to 4th. He can see Oliveira trying
with clear track ahead of him. You know, he's not going to have any issues with front tyre pressure or temperature. Quartararo gets through on Aleix Espargaro in
time to move.
Yeah, Oliveira is where Quartararo thought he would be and wanted to be.
Marc Marquez from 13th on the grid to desperately trying to find a way through on Joan Mir. There's the lead from the helicopter of Miguel Oliveira on the factory Ducati of Miller and Polis.
From bad to worse for Pol Espargaro. He's not finished higher than 8th so far this year. Thought Marc Marquez was going to fire up the inside of
Buona, Morbidelli, Nakagami, Bastianini and Alex Marquez. It's not got any better for Valentino Rossi either. He's out.
Something happened to Rossi on that lap number 4.
On board here with Joan Mir. He will not outdrag. Some drama there. Maybe just outbraking himself into turn 1. Through goes Marquez and Zarco.
Well, this is more lining up the inside of Repsol man into turn number 4. These two will not be scared about exchanging a bit of paintwork. Zarco then. Yeah, this group, Malaysia, Espargaro, Marquez, Zarco, Vinales, Binder and Bagnaia. This is more Moto3 than MotoGP. The problem is,
what has happened to the Aussie? The lead now for Oliveira is a second, but the Australian must have run into some drama there because Joan Mir
stole crash at turn 9. Iker Lecuona went down there in Q1 hard yesterday. Now then Zarco and Malaysia, and he will not be able to get through on Zarco on the straight. It was Petrucci riding for his MotoGP future, riding for his cast. The Aprilia there of Aleix Espargaro moves up 1 spot into 6th. Yeah, I mean, Miller was a full set. Pretty light work of Joan Mir.
Well, now he can start his pursuit. Can he cut into that 1 point clear air? He'll probably try and just get into those 139s, and no one was able to match that yesterday in FP4.
Can get through on Miller and Mir, who are two of the hardest men to overtake in MotoGP. He made light work of the world champion Suzuki in turn.
This is MotoGP at its finest though, folks. 6 different manufacturers inside the top 7. That's excellent. Oliveira it is that leads. The gap already down by 1/10 through sector 3. We'll have a look at it.
He was able to take 3/10 out of Quartararo in sectors 1 and 2, and then Quartararo brings a little bit of time back in sector 3. Yeah, 10th covering the top 2 men.
Miguel was given the information as to who it was that has just moved up into 2nd place, so he'll know. Vinales, Binder, Bagnaia in the top 10. That's the group that you can see, and then further back there, Iker Lecuona.
Morbidelli, I mean, he's about half a second slower on that last lap than this man, Oliveira.
The gap from number 12, you can see Maverick Vinales, then it's Brad Binder, who still can't fudge his way through. He's struggling.
Nakagami's been issued with a long lap penalty.
The 3rd consecutive race that the 8-time world champion has crashed out. Good spot there, Matt, but
DNFs in a row in his career, Steve. An unwanted milestone then for Marc Marquez, who was having certainly his best ride since for 10. Well, he got away with it 2 years ago when Jorge Lorenzo became a wrecking ball, didn't he? On Vinales, Dovizioso.
It might not be the one you think it is. It's Joan Zarco, the Pramac Ducati rider. 2nd in the World Championship and a lot of life. So that's why he's got to take a long lap penalty. But Zarco then, the fastest man on circuit at the moment, in 5th.
Wonder whether he could see Zarco just starting to really cut into some good rhythm. Zarco, the Frenchman, getting on,
struggling to maintain the pace of Espargaro and Vinales ahead of them. They've just been cut adrift slightly, but this race could too.
Last year, Steve, lap 9, that Fabio Quartararo did the best lap of the race. That was a 1:41.42. Just giving an indication of how much the tyre performance can change. Zarco is not going to win the game of braking there against Miller.
Yet again in 5th place. The gap at the front now for Miguel Oliveira has come completely down. You can see Fabio Quartararo is well on terms.
Just to be wary about tyre life, the balance, as we've talked about numerous times this weekend, between performance and endurance. That was all. The 3 fast rights to finish the lap as well really do punish both front and rear tyre.
He did not put a foot wrong in Mugello when he finished 2nd to Fabio Quartararo. He was just in a world of his own. Can he?
In terms of tyres, Oliveira's got the hard front tyre on there. You know how Quartararo's been so tyre, and that's where Fabio Quartararo's so good on corner entry and turning. He's able to flick that motor side. This year the case. In fact, of course, noteworthy performance last weekend from Brad Binder. He equalled the all-time top speed record.
That's the end of top 10 chances for Taka Nakagami, and another disappointing weekend for the Japanese rider. So then at the fire conservation mode for Mir, because he got such a great start, he's well placed, Joan Mir, here at the moment.
Just saw there, top of your pitch.
Marc Marquez getting a lift from the Leopard Honda team.
This is not a sight we're accustomed to seeing at all beneath him. A few riders have said they've had issues trail braking on that transition from old tarmac to new tarmac into turn 10. And
Who
not the top
has,
3.
it's Aleix Espargaro. The Espargaro boys have both crashed out here.
I was just in then. It's already taken Marc Marquez out of the race, so now it takes Aleix Espargaro down. No home comforts for the Espargaro.
Brad Binder. Vinales is lapping very quickly, as quick as the leaders. Can he now close that down? It's got a lot. Fabio Quartararo biding his time on Miguel Oliveira, and you would think, Matt, that he
had the better edge grip than Oliveira. He was able to run the tighter line, and then there was just enough of a gap there to fire up the inside. To win Jerez, of course, when Fabio Quartararo's had daylight in front of him. Nobody's back wheel to stare at. He's been lethal.
Edge and top speed. He's now going to try and get as close to the tail unit as possible to Quartararo. We'll keep our eyes peeled in a moment, but let's just see how this one goes. Already Quartararo able to get a couple of tenths over Miguel Oliveira.
Slipstream from Zarco, and he's going to try and do the same here to Oliveira.
Simon, your thoughts on the midway point of this Catalan Grand Prix?
Yeah, he handles pressure. You know, he just, I don't want to jinx him, but he just puts up with it so well. The only man in this front group, all the way back to Brad Binder, his teammate, that is running the hard front. As you pointed, it didn't have enough edge grip. They couldn't do the lap times, but the KTM boys maybe it'll work.
To do, but as we said, things can change quickly.
Now, Oliveira's a little bit closer on this circuit than he was previously to Quartararo. Can he get up the inside in the braking zone on Quartararo? He certainly can, and with that extra straight line stability of that hard front.
Eastern Fabio Quartararo was expecting. It is fair to say, and now he's got that corner speed ramped up. Fabio Quartararo
close enough this time around to lunge up the inside of Oliveira down the hill.
Zarco's through on. What a win this would be for Miguel Oliveira, were he able to pull it off.
Ginormous feather in his cap, wouldn't it be? Sunday evening for the Espargaro boys when they go home here in Granollers tonight, because Paul Aleix was, when his front tyre cried no more, he was offline, wasn't he? Offline. Afraid to say, Aleix Espargaro
managed to just get himself a couple of tenths advantage as they make their way down onto the start-finish straight. These are the five on screen.
With Miguel Oliveira, he's super intelligent, super smart, they all are. But Miguel Oliveira,
start was absolutely crucial for Joan Mir, because it meant that he didn't have to do so much hard work in the
where Mir was brilliant. He was really in a class of his own. He came through with Alex Rins. Last year, the brands, he had grip issues himself. They just weren't quite as severe as the Yamahas and Ducatis around.
He's launching an attack there on Mir, not close enough. Lecuona's doing a fantastic job. Iker Lecuona, shout out to him after the two. He's doing a great job. 12th ahead of Rossi, Marini and Jorge Martin.
Yeah, Rossi doing some decent laps. Machine briefly to Johan Zarco. Now then, Zarco's going to be desperate to pick up some slipstream. 5th gear. He'll tap it into top gear and see what he can do about that whatsoever. He'd have known it was coming, and there's nothing he can do about it whatsoever.
Inside line there deliberately to try and make life a bit more difficult for Johan Zarco, but there was no stopping the Bologna Bullet powering putter.
And there's Franco Morbidelli. Hasn't been the podium charge that many people expected from him. He's down in 10th place. Well, unfortunately, Mir's going the wrong way, and now, of course, he's got the major problem of trying to work out the conundrum.
How rider on of the front 6-7 for the last 4 or 5 laps. There he is.
Yeah,
he's back with this group now.
Just found that's why he's able to keep Vinales behind him.
This is fascinating, Matt. This is not the race we expected to unfold, luckily. And the disappointing season continues. What has happened there? It looks like the suspension's completely the ride height device has gone into action there as he barrels through. Alex Marquez was very wide there as well, but Rossi this race, Matt, with 8 laps to go, because what is it going to be in a couple of laps time where really we have no
Oliveira or Quartararo or Vinales. I mean, Maverick Vinales has had stunning rhythm, as Steve mentioned. I mean, look at that, compared.
More trouble than we think, or has he got something left in him up his sleeve? One problem for both of these guys now is that they've got 3 seconds now.
Vinales crucially can see the podium. It's going to be incentivising him big. Oliveira, who still leads. We're just about to chalk off lap number 17 here. Yep, and here comes Vinales in the slipstream behind the factory Suzuki of Joan Mir, who's so good on the brakes down at the first corner. Vinales just, we were just saying, he was on course for one of his best dry race results. It's an unwanted hat-trick, a 3rd crash of the weekend.
Starting to really show their class with 7 laps to go. They've got a nice gap back to Zarco, Miller, Mir and Vinales. Podium
It does look like it's a battle between these two men, Oliveira versus Quartararo. Felt like that was going to be a potent combination, a chance to give him the opportunity to win or on the podium here on Sunday. That's exactly as it's panned out.
4 groups of 2 on screen at the moment.
Yeah, Zarco and Mir dropped into the 41s on that.
Onto the start-finish straight then, with 6 laps to go. It looks like it's a race for the win between Miguel.
You can just see him at the top of the picture there. There's no opportunity for Vinales to get through on the Suzuki man in the braking zone.
Not find a way through on the factory Ducati.
40.9 from Oliveira on that last lap. That's his slow 5 lap 19.
Zarco took a couple of tenths out of them in that first sector. Twice a winner himself already, of course, but not in the full factory colours. The last time they did that, of course, last year,
Race in 2018. He'd love to exact a bit of revenge on that defeat. He took his first ever Grand Prix, another podium in MotoGP.
Now, these are the tyres of Fabio Quartararo, who I can tell you, there's a lot of known now, and across the line I can tell you Zarco is closing up as well a little bit on Fabio Quartararo, who was in the 41.8.
Quartararo himself dips back into the 41s, gap back up to 0.4 of a second.
It really has transformed the fortunes of the Portuguese rider, who up until Italy hadn't even got in the top 10.
Suzuki as wide as an 18-wheeler at the moment, isn't he?
Very nervous looking Pit Byra with 5 laps remaining.
This is from Miguel Oliveira. They've been busy in the transfer market, busy in the negotiations behind the scenes, haven't they, KTM, signing very long before they re-upping with Oliveira at the moment.
A few days perhaps.
Yeah, tonight maybe.
Desperate to get past Pecco Bagnaia because he's got rhythm to potentially close up on Mir and Vinales.
Up into this Grand Prix now, and it's the crucial phase of it where the tyres are going to be deteriorating at a fairly rapid rate. You got
the top 4 last time around. Do not discount Thriller Miller.
Oliveira, for the first time in this Grand Prix in terms of speed and consistency, and at the moment he's still not letting Fabio Quartararo get close enough to show him that.
Quartararo struggling to stay with him at the moment. Quartararo not able to sort of get into that same rhythm he had yesterday in free.
Biggest advantage.
Yeah, he's in trouble. Zarco's right on top of him now.
Can you believe this? Fabio Quartararo may well lose the podium. This is clawing back some ground in the championship as well for him personally.
Zarco can smell second, and he will make light.
Hit your braking markers and stay close enough to Quartararo to use your advantage right here now as you wind it up to 6.
A 141.5 for Fabio Quartararo. He's going to try. Oh, he's almost lost the front there, and he's shaking his thought. Well, the bookie's favourite, Fabio Quartararo, doesn't look like he's winning the Catalan Grand Prix.
On that high corner, the front just tucked from right underneath him. I think the right-hand side of Fabio Quartararo's front tyre is really struggling here.
Thing surely here as Johan Zarco. He might have an opportunity earlier to maybe pull off the move into turn 10. We're going to watch a replay here of Quartararo. Has got some sort of issues. He's taking his chest protector out there of his leathers.
Guys, his
you can see his necklace and his bare chest.
What's going on? What's happened to the leathers here?
Harass.
I've never seen anything like that.
Likewise.
Well, Miller's going to fly past him now and move up into 3rd place. And the man who was favoured to win this Grand Prix, although he does him back on the cutback, is fading.
Whether it's the combination of the leathers and the fading front tyre grip, whatever it is, that's his biggest problem.
He's desperate. What it says about the rules in terms of this either, because it's not safe, is it? Let's be honest.
No.
I don't know whether that Fabio Quartararo, he could end up getting a black flag here. I don't know. I've not got this in the bag just yet. We're getting closer to the final lap of the race, but look who's creeping closer and closer. We remind you, ladies and gentlemen, do you know what? He's got some great speed. They drop down the hill into the last couple of corners. We're going to start the last lap. There's half a second between Miguel.
There'll be some kind of penalty. Will it be black flag? Will there be a DQ?
He'll have seen on his pit board that Zarco's closing Miguel Oliveira.
Yeah, and how ironic this would be if Zarco beats the factory. Left KTM halfway through a 2-year contract. We thought his MotoGP career was over, and he stands on the biggest moment.
Can he get close enough, crucially, to make a move into turn 10? Because it would be very difficult to pull off anything anywhere else.
Here in the back of your picture, can he find a way through on Quartararo? No, he can't. Miguel Oliveira, normally in these situations, mentally as corners, Quartararo has got a 3-second penalty. His podium has gone.
The checkered flag is out, and it looks like this one is Miguel Oliveira wins on the factory KTM here. in Barcelona, ahead of Joan Zarco and Quartararo, but he will not finish third.
Absolutely sensational. Zarco takes second, Quartararo takes the checkered flag third, bare-chested as well, but he's made again 11 MotoGP podiums, his 8th runner-up spot, but Miguel Oliveira, absolute Quartararo's leathers. His front tyre we saw was graining badly as well. Dani Pedrosa, so much credit up.
Has been cut. Zarco takes 20 points. Quartararo moves to 4th.